Okay, thank you everybody and welcome to our volunteer information session, all about the many ways you can make a difference for local nature and for the planet together with other community members and Burlington Green. I'd like to start with a reflection on truth and reconciliation, including a land acknowledgement. As stewards of the earth, we have the responsibility to honor and respect the four directions: land, waters, plants, animals, and all the wonderful elements of creation that exist. We honor all the First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people who have been living on the land since time immemorial, and we recognize their leadership in protecting and caring for Mother Earth. In Burlington, our work with the community takes place within the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, represented by Treaty 14 and 19. And on the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, Attawandaron, Haudenosaunee, and Métis peoples. We honor these rightful caretakers of this sacred land surrounding the Great Lakes, and we're grateful for their teachings. Burlington Green has much to learn from First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people, and we encourage everyone to continually learn from and about the Indigenous community where you live and how we can each meaningfully honor the calls to action for truth and reconciliation. And I'm going to share that on Burlington Green's website, if you go to the bottom of any page, especially our homepage, you'll see a link to resources on truth and reconciliation. And I'd also like to share that Burlington Green embraces an inclusive community where individuals are valued, respected, and empowered to reach their potential. And we endorse the 10 commitments as presented in the Halton Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Charter, the EDI Charter. So I thank you for respecting one another during our time together today. So I'll ask you to hold questions until the end. We should have time. We should have time then for covering that. So I'll just a little bit about Burlington Green in general. We take a AAA approach to our work together with the community, and we sort of see our work falling into these three buckets of awareness, which is sort of increasing awareness of environmental issues and helping everyone in the community to have better understanding of their role in supporting the planet and fighting climate change. We also work on advocacy, so helping people to speak up and share their views on policies and issues that are affecting the climate and our environment locally, and also action. So that has to do with providing resources to people in the community so that they can take meaningful action for change. And it's all captured in our mission statement. Together with the community, we work to protect nature, mitigate climate change, and create a healthier, more environmentally responsible Burlington. There are many ways to get involved and make a difference, and we hope that you'll think about engaging your school, your family, your workplace, and community groups with the resources on our webpage and our many events. So there's some ways to volunteer with Burlington Green that you don't need to really, necessarily attend a volunteer information session or go through any kind of volunteer application or orientation. There are things we do that are open to anyone in the community to participate in. So I just want to start with those, and then I'll move on to some of our more sort of formal volunteer programs. So the first one is our Clean Up Green Up, and that's our flagship event. As I said, you don't need to attend a special session or get special training to join in. Basically, all across the community, people are doing litter cleanups starting now and going all the way through October 31st. And in the past, last year, we had about 10,000 people participate. It was a little bit higher the last year before COVID in 2019. A lot of schools participate, and we've had years where every public school in Burlington has participated. And this year it's Burlington Green's 15th anniversary. So we're hoping to get 15,000 participants. So if you do a cleanup, we'd love to have you register that on our website. We provide cleanup bundles, and you are eligible for volunteer hours for cleanups that are done within Burlington. Everything's explained on our Cleanup Green Up site under programs on our webpage. So you can take a look at that. I can send some information after our info session as well. So we love folks to get their school involved, their workplace, your whole family, or maybe your neighborhood doing the cleanup. And this year we've introduced a new program called the Litter League, which is part of our cleanup. And that's a really fun way for folks to challenge themselves and their friends to raise some funds while they're doing a cleanup. So basically the idea is you set up an online fundraising page, or a couple of them. You could do a team, you can compete with each other, and then invite your friends and family and others to contribute to help reach your fundraising goal while you're doing your cleanup. So that's a fun new thing. We also have our Green Up tree planting. So that happens this year. It's going to be on April 22nd. And again, the community is welcome to join that. You just need to sign up. Signups will start on March 27th for that. So it's coming up really soon, and there are limited spots, but it's a really fun day of getting outside, and we'll be planting 500 trees in a park in Burlington. And again, that's eligible for volunteer hours also. So I just have a couple quick slides with upcoming activities. So again, the tree planting on April 22nd, and in the afternoon, eco activities at the beach. So there'll be a guided tree walk. There'll be a repair cafe. People can make pollinator seed balls. We'll be providing some cycling resources and other things. And on Saturday, April 1st, we're inviting the community to join our cleanup at the beach. So those things are both happening. And again, for some of those activities, there's volunteer hours available. And we have a presentation on a webinar on wellness through birding with Bob Bell coming up on April 5th. That's not a volunteer opportunity, but didn't want to miss the chance to let you all know about it. And on May 13th, we're collecting electronic waste. So there's lots of reasons why it's important for the environment to make sure that electronic waste is properly reused, repurposed, sometimes recycled. And so we're doing a big drive on May 13th. And if you are connected to a group or workplace or school that might want to do their own mini drive and bring stuff over on May 13th, that would be fantastic. Or you can just collect what you have at home and bring it with you on the 15th. 13th of May. There is also a special volunteer opportunity on that day, and I'll share more about that in a moment. So many of our really fun activities happen through the Burlington Green Youth Network. So this is for people who are between the ages of 14 and 24. And there's usually 2 activities per month, about 2 hours for each of them. They're online and they're in person. We have this March 27th film viewing and beach cleanup coming up, and all the meetings and hands-on activities are eligible for volunteer hours. So for young people looking to get some volunteer hours, the Youth Network is a great way to do that. It's an inclusive, welcoming space, just like all of Burlington Green. And by getting on the mailing list for the Youth Network, you'll get advance notice of some of our fun hands-on volunteer activities and hikes, habitat stewardship activities where we're removing invasive plant species, cleanups, rallies, and all kinds of things. There's a social media subcommittee as part of the Youth Network. So that's a group that works on social posts to go on there's some dedicated social media for the Youth Network. You can see the Instagram handle there. So that's a fun thing for folks who are interested in doing a little research, doing some graphics, and writing up social posts. We're having, the Youth Network is having some hands-on activities also on April 1st, on April 17th, and other days. So there's definitely some volunteer opportunities coming up with the Youth Network. Now I'd like to talk about our Eco Action volunteer opportunities. So these are open to anyone. We do have quite a few members of the Youth Network participating in all of these activities. So the first one here, the tree planting, while it's open to anybody in the community to come and plant a couple of trees, you can be any age to do that. We do usually need a small crew of volunteers to help us on that day as well. So they arrive a bit early, help. It's a morning activity, so you might have to be there at 8:30. And you help with setup, with takedown, with carrying some small trees around, like you can see in the picture there. You might be using a wheelbarrow to move some mulch around, and helping people with planting their trees. So that happens on the 22nd. And then we also have our event Greening Ambassadors. So that's an opportunity that that takes place usually on weekends and holidays in the summer and fall. Every once in a while, there's an indoor or weekday evening event, but generally it's weekends and holidays, the big festivals. So you can see people help with the setup and takedown and guiding the public to sort waste. So we used to do waste sorting, like behind the scenes. Everyone would just dump their garbage, and then volunteers would be hidden away somewhere sorting everything out. We've learned over time that it's really good for raising people's awareness and education and changing behaviors if we guide folks on how to discard their waste. So our volunteers are at waste stations at some of the biggest festivals in Burlington, for instance, on Canada Day at Spencer Smith Park. And they help folks determine what goes in compost, what goes in recycling, and what goes to landfill. So there's about 4 to 7 events a year that we do. You do shifts of between 3 and 5 hours. So that's a really fun activity. That picture pretty much gives you the idea of what it's like, although it can also be hot and a lot of hours on your feet. But for those who need any kind of accommodation, we can certainly make arrangements for that. And then you can see we have our zero waste drop-off event. So I mentioned that earlier, that anyone in the community can come with their electronics on that day. The spring one is May 13th, and we'll do one in the fall, usually in the middle of October or so. And again, with this, we need volunteers all day, so morning and afternoon shifts to help with the setup, welcome the community, and then unload materials from people's vehicles. So that's a fun and busy day that you get to work out at for sure. So let's see, what's our next thing? So yeah, so we also have a pretty exciting opportunity that we call like outreach volunteers. So last year in the middle of the summer, we moved to our new location, which is that brick building you can see in the picture there. That's our Eco Hub at Burlington Beach. And we had outreach to the community there every day in the summer last year, and also on weekends. And we're hoping to do that again this year. And we really need a volunteer team to help us do that. So for folks who enjoy speaking with the community, if you like working outdoors, open to helping with a variety of tasks, we have to move the items from inside outside every day and then clean up at the end of the day. So there's some carrying of stuff, but again, we want to accommodate people with different abilities. Our volunteers will work independently or accompany our team members, providing information, resources, and educational hands-on activities. It's suitable for adults of all ages, post-secondary students, and older high school students with strong communication skills, energy, reliability, passion for the environment, and responsibility. And we're hoping to get folks to commit to regular shifts for a minimum of a 2-month period. We're accepting applications, and we'll have an interview process and shadowing opportunities and training as well. How are we doing for time? Ooh, 6:24. Okay. So we also have some volunteer opportunities that are remote or virtual. So we're looking for somebody or a couple of people to help us with online research and writing. This is an opportunity better for a post-secondary student or professional person, someone looking to boost their resume. We have tons of resources on our website, and it can be challenging to keep them all up to date. So we have a few that we know need refreshes, and so we're looking for somebody to help us do that. You can also see on the right, we have our social media volunteer opportunity, again, hoping for someone who's a post-secondary student or professional person with experience on multiple platforms and comfortable with Hootsuite or a similar social media scheduling platform. And there's also an opportunity for someone to help us with video editing. We have advocacy opportunities, and potentially someone could help with graphics. And I'll just remind you again, the Youth Network has the social media subcommittee. So for younger folks who are interested in that, that's a great opportunity. So this slide is just really an overview of kind of what the process would be like. Now, we don't have an application interview for everything, like that would happen for those remote opportunities I talked about, the social media volunteer position, the online research, and also for the outreach positions. For folks who are participating in the Youth Network, they wouldn't really have to apply for the event greening or zero waste opportunities, but for folks who are not part of the Youth Network, we're asking for applications for those opportunities so that we can get to know folks who are interested in that. And then for some positions, there will be interviews. There will always be some kind of orientation and training. So everybody needs to complete a waiver. There's training for the specific jobs like waste sorting. And anybody who's going to be interacting with the public, we provide an accessible customer service training. For the outreach, as I mentioned before, there's an opportunity to shadow with us and just observe and see what it's like. We encourage, we provide ways to provide feedback and do check-ins with volunteers to see how things are going. And that is my presentation. I'll just share that we're also looking for a board member now with legal expertise. So if any of you know of, if you or anybody you know has a passion for the environment and legal experience as a lawyer, we would love to hear from them. We haven't posted that position yet, but it will be coming up soon. So it's now 6:27. And I wonder if anybody has a question. You could put a question in the chat, or you could turn on your video and unmute. Did you have a question, Chris?
Yes, I sent a question in the meeting chat. How do you keep track of the volunteer hours? Do you log into a different website?
We're just doing it. We're doing it old school. Yeah, you don't need to use a website or anything. Yeah, we just, for whatever, if someone is at Youth Network meetings and things, the coordinator of that KL will keep track of how often, which meetings the person attended, and can log the hours, and then provide documentation whenever that's needed. And there is a process after each Burlington, every Youth Network meeting for folks to do a feedback form, which is kind of confirms their participation in that activity. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And And I see Betty, your question, sorry I didn't catch the chat earlier. Is the application available on the website? Yes, the application is available on our website, and I will send a link to that in a follow-up message to everybody, so you have it. If you go to the take action menu item on our website, you'll see volunteer is one of the choices, and then on that page, if you go to one of our opportunities, like, under outreach or event greening, both of those will have a link to the application as well. So if you want to try to find it yourself. I see another question. Will we have access to the recording of the presentation for later? Yeah, I'm recording this session, and I think we will probably post it somewhere. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where it will be, most likely on our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to find it there. So to join the social media subcommittee, just join the Youth Network. And I should say, with Youth Network, you don't have to attend a certain number of meetings. You can attend 1, you can attend 3, you could attend all of them. It's just, it's completely up to you. Yeah, there's no minimum attendance required or anything. So if you wanted to send me an email at the volunteer email address, it says here your name is Zoom user. If you want to send me an email at the volunteer email address, volunteer@burlingtongreen.org, I can connect you with Kale, who leads the Youth Network, and he can give you information about the social media subcommittee. And anyone on the call today can email me at that address. I'll put it in here. I'm typing it in, so I might make a typo. I think I got that right. volunteer@burlingtongreen.org. These are some great questions. Oh, okay. Hi, Kia. Okay. So I'm happy to stick around as long as folks want to. If anybody wants to just hang out and chat or talk about anything more. But I've pretty much covered everything I was planning for tonight. I really hope you'll all participate. Thank you, Betty. Good night. And yeah, I think we're good. Maybe I'll stop the recording. Okay. Thank you. All right. Bye, everybody. If anyone wants to stick around to chat, that's fine too. No worries. Thank you. Good night, Chris.
Good night.